dobra vam večer svima koji ste večeras s nama, koji ste se do sada pridružili i nadam se da će se još po putu pridružiti oni koji imaju nastavu do 7 pa jure da stignu. Večeras imamo zadnje ovogodišnje u ovom ciklusu predstavljanja knjiga za mlade učitelja u fokusu izdanje i imamo jednu posebnu čast, a to je da je s nama ovdje autor koji nije naš domaći autor, nego je autor iz inozemstva, tako da smo se dogovorili da ćemo ovaj večerašnji susret izvesti na engleskom i učenici i učiteljice su se pripremile i unaprijed im puno hvala. Ja ću se sad prebaciti na engleski i dalje engleski. So what I said is that this is our last session of Teachers in Focus in this cycle. And we have special privilege tonight to host our author from Norway, Bobby Pierce, who wrote 3 books that were translated to Croatian. He's, other than that, a film script writer and director. So he came originally from filmmaking. He went to London International Film School, as I saw, but he left his mark in the history of Norwegian cinema. He won Palme d'Or in 2006 for script and direction of the film Sniffer. But in 2015, he decided to start writing books for young adults. I don't know whether these are children or young adults, but books are obviously appropriate for more ages than like 12, 13, 14, 15, also younger, also older. Books that were translated into 38 languages, as we heard when we prepared for this talk, are also translated in Croatian, 3 of them. There are 6 of them now. Name of the first one is The Luridium Thief, then The Orbulator Agent, and then The Secret Portal. The books talk about the 12-year-old code breaker, William Venton. And I have to say that in 2015, the first part won a prestigious Norwegian Prize for Children's Literature. And in 2016, it was declared the Book of the Year in Norway. Before we start, I just have to say that I realize now that these books, are kind of part of something that in Naklada Ljevak we are doing vertically. Namely, we have this session with Učitelji u fokusu, Teachers in Focus, but we also have another one for high school students where they read books, 4 books a year, that were awarded with different awards in Europe that were awarded by young adults. So this is kind of in a line with that, because you can go online and search and see which books they read in high school, especially those of you who are already 8th grade. So Bobby Pierce, very nice to have you here. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for agreeing to talk to our teachers and students. We also have 2 teachers here with their students who prepared for many, many months, I would say, because they knew they have to prepare everything in English, and thank you for that. We have Mirjana Jukic from the school in Zagreb. She is here and most of you know her. This is school in Rudeš with her students, Clara, Petra, Ana, and Vita. Please. Yes. And then we have Tiziana Benčić from school Stoja in Pula with her students, Emma, Anja, Michael, and Lena. Hi to all of you. So we are all here and prepared. We hope that some of you already read the books, but if you didn't after our session tonight, I hope that you will see how the books are well received and how students really think that this is something that can enhance reading in young people. So I hope that you will decide to include them into your curriculum. Uh, I will start now by asking few questions to our students. Then, as usual, our teachers will show you what they have been doing with the book, and then the big part comes. Students will pose questions to Bobby, and he will try to answer them, and I hope we will have fruitful discussion. So, as I said, William Wenton is 12-year-old boy. His superpower is to crack codes, and as much as this sounds very fun, this gets him into trouble. Uh, my question to you students is how technology impacts your life today? And can you imagine your life without technology, let's say without the iPhone or any smartphone for a week? How do you how do you think you will feel? What do you think you will do? Would you like it or not?
Technology,
Answer.
technology affects a lot of things in my life, and I would divide them into good and bad. The good impacts of technology are easier access to information, improved communication, and online shopping. But bad impacts are a lack of privacy and reduced face-to-face communication. And actually, I can't imagine a week in my life without mobile phone because I have a habit of scrolling through TikTok or Instagram during my free time. So it would be very difficult without my mobile phone.
Okay. Do you, may I just ask you, uh, when did you get your first phone, or when is the time when you remember that you were without the phone?
Um, I got my first phone, I think um, in third class. Uh,
Okay.
a great, it was great. But I remember that this summer I was on my mobile phone so much time. But I hanged out with my friends, but also when I was home, I did all uh, jobs that all tasks in my home. And in my free time, when I did that, I was on my
On phone, yeah. Do you want to say something from Stoya, or you will go on for another question?
Well, I would like to say something.
Okay, please.
I think that it's almost impossible to function without technology these days because practically everything depends on it. And some people even can do their job without it. And I probably couldn't imagine a week without a phone, even though I experienced it a few times.
Okay, okay. The continuation of what I wanted to ask you goes to artificial intelligence. We talk a lot today about artificial intelligence, and artificial intelligence is just the continuation of technology. Some of us are for the artificial intelligence, some are against. Most of us do not have enough information. We don't know what is artificial intelligence. William Wenton, in these books, has a strange metal, luridium, in his body, which changes him as a human being. So, have you been talking in school about the ways, for example, medicine can help people today by using new technologies? And if not, is this something that interests you, that you would go on and investigate to know more about it? Because what I'm really asking is, we are today very much many times into saying something is good, something is bad, and we don't see all angles. So William Benton is the way he is because without it, he wouldn't be alive probably. So how do you see this?
We in our school we talked about artificial intelligence a lot, but I would like to see more of it. And we talked about some good and bad sides of it. Some good sides would be it can help us in medicine to do some maybe homework for us if we are too lazy, and to do some um, search for us, and a lot of things, but it will get us too lazy.
Yes, and the bad sides can be we have a lot less privacy now because artificial intelligence can access all our information basically. And also we can sometimes give false information because it's not fully developed, and its source of information is from Google most likely. So yeah, those are the bad sides.
Okay. Do you want from Pula to say something, or we go to the third?
Yes,
Okay,
Yeah.
at school, we don't talk much about artificial intelligence used in medicine, although I think it's important. I would introduce a lot of workshops in school, and one of them would be medical. For those who want to know more about medicine, I think it's important to know about the benefits of new technology used in medicine.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. And my last question is about Good and Evil. This trilogy is based on the story of Good and Evil. My question is, would you recommend it to your friends and peers? And why do you think young people should read it? Basically, do you see yourself? And I hope you do after everything you said. Do you see yourself in William or in some other characters in these books? Is this the reason why you liked it?
I actually think that even adults should read this book and not the younger people, because mostly the bad characters in the whole trilogy are the bad people. The bad people are the adults, the Goffman, the Albert, Cornelia, like all of them are basically bad people. And whole thing is that adults are trying to destroy the childhood of the kids. And I low-key see myself in a William, well, because of the whole technology thing. He is mostly whole time and he's scared and he's disappointed of himself. And I also think that I couldn't live possibly without the phone. And good sides of this book is I would recommend it to my friends, but I don't know if they would actually focus on good and bad sides.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And Pula?
I would definitely recommend everyone to read this book. I think young people should read the book primarily because it's very exciting and fun, but also because the book talks about Liridium as an AI, and in a way it can prepare people for possible events in the future. If the AI falls into the wrong hands, like in this case with Abraham.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm just thinking now, teachers, please prepare for your presentation. While you are preparing, I will ask Bobby, did you read Jules Verne when you were small? Because, now that I'm thinking, you started with that in 2015. The first book was published in 2015 in Norway. We haven't been talking about artificial intelligence that much then. So did you read Jules Verne? Did you want to I mean, it all came from your imagination, obviously.
Yeah, I did read Jules Verne and Into the Earth and all of those books. So it's um, but I think it's very interesting that you focus on the AI or the artificial intelligence part in the books, and we can talk more about it because it's basically what the whole book series is about. And I remember when I visited Croatia, that was many years ago now. I did a radio interview where I mostly talked about artificial intelligence. And back then, most people didn't really know what it was or what it could do. And it was only like a couple of years ago when ChatGPT and everything exploded into the scene that we're talking about it. But in the books, it's more like, is it good or is it bad? This technology that what happens if it turns against us and what should we do? So that's basically the theme of the 6 books.
Thank you. Imamo sada, ovo je prezentacija, gledam iz Zagreba.
Da, Osnovna škola Rudeš.
Evo ga, Osnovna škola Rudeš. Mirjana će nam pokazati šta je radila s knjigama i kako.
Hvala lijepa. Hello, Bobby Pierce.
Hello.
From Rudeš Elementary School. We are very happy that you are with us. I ja ću dalje nastaviti na hrvatskom jeziku. Dobro večer zapravo kolegice i kolege. Ako vas ima, nisam vidjela točno tko je ovdje. Evo, nama je stvarno bilo zadovoljstvo sudjelovati u ovom projektu. Ja mislim da se moje djevojke slažu i nisu one jedine koje su se uključile u ovaj projekt. Razgovarala sam s kolegicom Ticijanom, ona je radila za lektiru, a zapravo cijeli ovaj naš projekt se zasniva na tome da motiviramo ostale učenike kako bi čitali ova 3 dijela. Znači, riječ je o Kraljevcu Loridija, o Tajnom portalu i u službi Orgulatora, sve autora Bobija Piercea. Znači, Osnovna škola Rudeš, moram opet spomenuti ove svoje 4 učenice, Klaru, Petru, Anu i Vitu, a podrška im je bio Fran, koji je snimatelj priloga i scenarist, Martu Ezgetu, Petru Graf i Emu Marunović, koji su radile i pomogle u audio montaži. Znači, sve ovo zapravo učenički rad. Projekt trajao 2 mjeseca, evo voditeljica sam ja i to se ostvarivalo ove školske godine. Nekako sve 3 knjige pratimo u svim 3 knjigama likove kroz prošlost, sadašnjost i budućnost. Osobno ja sam imala možda i poteškoće s time, pa mogu reći i možda moje djevojke, malo smo raspravljali o tome, pa smo imale česte susrete i u svojoj grupi na WhatsAppu, ali i književne subote. Tako da smo i ove aktivnosti podijelile na prošlost, sadašnjost i budućnost. Prošlost je bila anketa o očekivanjima i razumijevanju naslova 3 romana. U sadašnjosti smo istraživale i objašnjavale pojmove iz različitih znanosti. Čitali smo roman, imali književne susrete i raspravljale o radnji, likovima i odnosu među likovima. Scenarij se pisao je učenik Franz Wirn, koji je polaznik naše filmske radionice, a isti tekst smo dale i u aplikaciju umjetne inteligencije, isti tekst. Dobili smo sasvim 2 različita scenarija i moram priznati da bismo film radije snimile prema svojem scenariju.
Mogu vas samo prekinuti da objasnim Bobiju šta ste rekli. Samo ovo je jako važno. What they did is they were trying to make a script based on your books, and then they gave the same part of the text to AI, and these things were very different. So what they thought is that they would like much more to make a film based on their human script because you couldn't understand that, and it's important. Okay. Hvala.
Okay. And then, zatim smo istraživali kemijske elemente. Naime, ja sam bila uvjerena da luridi postoji. Ja sam davno završila osnovnu školu i srednju školu, na fakultetu to nisam slušala, a moram priznati da ni moje djevojke baš nisu bile 100% sigurne, pa su u projekt uključili profesora iz kemije koji mi je rekao, a ono iz druge, da luridija nema u kemijskom sustavu elemenata i zatim su naravno one prema opisu kemijskog ovog elementa luridija, kako ga je opisao naš Bobby Pearce, izradile periodni sustav elemenata s luridijem, tako da imamo i novi sustav elemenata koji ću vam pokazati. Izradile su i plakat, to je lenta kretanja Williamova, zatim djedova knjiga koja se još suši kod kuće, jel tako? Nju ćemo priložiti naknadno, snimanje video zapisa, a za budućnost smo predvidjeli aktivnost, prezentaciju trilogije učenicima 7. razreda s odabranim najboljim dijelovima romana kao poticaj za čitanje. Ono što nam je, evo, nekako pokretač, to je misao Bobija Pearcea, sa svojim sposobnostima možeš daleko dospjeti samo ako odabereš pravu stranu. Tu smo raspravljali naravno o izumima koji su u prošlosti doveli i do sasvim pogrešne strane, iako su bili izuzetno dobri izumi. Ja ću sada pokušati pustiti jednu malu tu anketicu koju smo proveli, neće pustiti u potpunosti, ona traje jedno 2 minutice, a proveli smo je u 6. razredu, pa kako su djeca zapravo prije tog samog našeg projekta promišljala na temelju naslova. Pred vama je knjiga Bobby Pearcea, Kradljivac luridija, i što možete reći što je luridi i biste li pročitali i zašto ovu knjigu?
Mislim da je luridi nešto vrijedno, neki vrijedni kamen koji sad neko krade.
Nikad nisam čula za riječ luridi, ali smatram da je to neka moć nad cijelim svijetom s kojim čovjek može upravljati svime.
Mislim da je to neka magična kugla napunjena rubinima.
Zvuči mi jako zanimljivo i pročitala bi knjigu. Čini mi se jako zanimljiva knjiga i pročitala bi je.
Drugi dio nosi naslov Tajni portal.
Pa mislim da portal to znači kao otvor u novu dimenziju, u neki novi svijet.
Portal je zapravo nekakav prolaz gdje idemo u novu dimenziju, to može biti budućnost, prošlost ili skroz nešto drugo. I više me privlači ona prva knjiga, ali htjela bi možda i pročitati i ovu knjigu.
U rukama držim knjigu u službi orbulatora.
Naslov je jako zanimljiv. Riječ orbulator me podsjeća kao nekakav maštoviti naziv za tu kuglu ili za tog cijelog lika koji zapravo upravlja tome.
Nemam baš neku ideju što znači riječ orbulator. Mislim da bi riječ orbulator mogla značiti neki otvor.
Dakle, slijede poruke iz Rudeša našem piscu Bobby Pearceu.
Veselim se pročitati vašu knjigu jer me jako zanimaju vaši naslovi i njihovo stvarno značenje. Smatram da ste tako kreativni i da ste imali jako dobru ideju s mišljenjem nekog naslova kojeg niko iz našeg razreda nije mogao otkriti što točno znači. Stvarno ste jako zanimljivi pisac, imate zanimljive naslove gdje sami naslov ništa ne govori. Inače u knjigama stvarno naslov već otkrije, barem meni, pola dijela, ali vi ste stvarno bili tajnoviti tako da bi trebala cijelu knjigu pročitati da bi stvarno vidjela o čemu se radi.
Evo, dakle...
Irena, ja moram sad ovo malo objasniti.
Može.
Bobby, what they did a questionnaire with 6th graders, showing them just the titles and title pages and asking them what they think this is and what they think in these books is. And there are the most exciting things you can imagine. And they mostly didn't understand, but were very imaginative about that. And they have a message to you that they want to read the books because you were so creative with thinking about the titles, and that you didn't show what is in the book, and you obviously tackled what young people like. So
great.
Congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Ok, mi smo mislili evo da će možda evo naš Bobby Pierce toliko hrvatskoga znati pa razumjeti. Šalim se naravno. 6. razred je bio ovo i
Ja.
ovdje imamo sad snimke naših djevojaka, ne moramo sve odslušati. Uglavnom, to su ove 4 djevojke. Evo ja ću pokušati, evo, ne znam, evo ga, ovdje nam je Klara. Čuti što Klara kaže zapravo o tim pročitanim knjigama. Svaka je rekla nešto, ali evo vidim da nam vrijeme curi, ima puno pitanja. Da vidimo li se čuje.
Meni se najviše svidjela druga knjiga zbog svoje uzbudljive radnje koja je napeta još od početka. I tako mi uz tu knjigu nikad nije bilo dosadno. Tu knjigu bi preporučila učenicima krajem 7. razreda, početkom 8. nakon što pročitaju prvi dio naravno. I mislim da bi im bila puno jasnija jer se mnogi pojmovi pojasne u prvoj knjizi.
Dakle, da bismo mogli čitati, mi smo krenuli u istraživanje pojmova i znanosti. Činilo nam se zapravo da Bobby Pierce u svojim knjigama isprepliče neprestano znanost i umjetnost. Iako su djevojke učenice 8. razreda, početak 8. razreda bile, da, ovdje su pojmovi koje nismo baš razumjele, pa smo to istraživale zajedno ili ponaosob. To je kriptografija, defragmentacija, dakle iz fizike, barem ovo objašnjenje koje smo našli i koje je vezano uz knjigu. Zatim egzoskelet, koje je vezano uz medicinu i biologiju. O visokofrekventnim valovima smo se raspitivali kod profesorice iz fizike, matematike i tako dalje. Dakle, to su valovi koji se uistinu mogu pojavljivati u svim znanostima. Kriogenski zamrzivač, vezan uz fiziku, kemiju, a naravno možda i uz biologiju. I naravno najviše smo prostora dali umjetnoj inteligenciji. Djevojke su to radile i u školi, istraživale i kod kuće i radile dosta s umjetnom inteligencijom, naravno pod kontrolom. Evo, nešto što su napravile, to je ova lenta Williamova kretanja, gdje ja, recimo, kada bude možda 6. razred čitao, odnosno 7. razred, prvu knjigu, ja ću evo pokazati ovu lentu i ja ću na temelju ovoga provjeriti jesu li oni pročitali knjigu, tako da ću recimo odrediti neku lokaciju, odrediti najvažniji događaj i dakle mjesto radnje, oni će odrediti vrijeme radnje, a da vidimo i da čujemo kako su to djevojke radile.
Jako su mi se svidjele sve 3 knjige, mislim da odlično prikazuju pozitivne i negativne strane umjetne inteligencije, također i znanstvenih izuma. Ovdje sam napravila plakat koji prikazuje cijeli Williamov život, zbog toga što se William neprestano selio i mislim da ovo odlično prikazuje sve najvažnije dijelove knjige i najvažnije mjesta radnje.
Evo ga, tako da ste evo to čuli i sad...
So this is some kind of visualization of where William Anton went in his life. So you got this, and they think that him being on the move all the time is very important for the whole thing. Yeah? Hvala?
I prelazimo na kemiju. Znači, to je bila najveća tajna, budući da smo stvarno bili uvjereni za taj luridi. Evo ga što je
Bobby Pierce je u svojim romanima izmislio potpuno novi metal luridi. To nas je potaklo na razmišljanje gdje bi ga smjestili u periodni sustav elemenata. Pa smo konzultirali svog profesora iz kemije, koji nam je pomogao da ga klasificiramo.
You got this. Where in the system it goes?
Periodu, mu damo protonski broj 119, atomsku masu 300, i dali smo mu oznaku LD, jer takva još ne postoji.
Evo ga. Novi sustav elemenata periodni. Evo, ovdje je luridi, ima protonski broj, atomsku masu i oznaku radioaktivnosti. Kao što vidite, radioaktivan je i na svaku osobu djeluje drugačije.
Okay.
I prelazimo na scenarij. Evo, ovako nam je scenarij izradila umjetna inteligencija. Uvela je potpuno nove likove, potpuno novi slijed radnje. Evo, moram priznati da baš nismo zadovoljni, jel tako? Ovo su bili naši komentari sa strane, screenshotali smo neke, nije baš da čitati sve, iako smo bile jako pristojne. A evo, naš Fran je napravio scenarij, dakle, interijer, vrata ispred dvorane, mali čovjek čuvar 1, mali čovjek čuvar 2, William, što tko radi, što govori, na koji način se govori. Naravno, ovo su dijelovi scenarija tog dijela, jer stvarno bilo bi previše toga. Tako da, evo, to je dio scenarija na temelju kojeg ćemo mi snimiti ili filmić ili ćemo radio igru, vidjet ćemo, dogovorit ćemo se i to je jedan od naših budućih projekata. I evo, aha. I ovo je još možda, evo ga, djevojke su...
Ja mislim da smo malo knap s vremenom, Mirjana.
Evo ga, ovo je zadnje. Dakle, evo, djevojke samo, njih 4 mogu samo...
Još nešto što nam se svidjelo kod ovog projekta je što smo se zbližile, dakle, komunicirale smo zajedno s profesoricom preko WhatsApp grupe gdje smo se dogovarale, objašnjavale međusobno dijelove knjige koji nam nisu bili jasni.
Uz to smo dolazili u škole, imali sastanke gdje smo se svi još više zbližili nego preko WhatsAppa.
I bilo nam je jako zabavno u ovom projektu čitati sve ove knjige i raspravljati o njima.
Mislim da je bilo dobro da ponovimo ovako nešto i da buduće generacije također isprobaju ovako čitati.
O, izvrsno.
Evo ga, this is the end.
Puno hvala, ok. Puno hvala, sad morate prestati čera tako da može...
Da, Saša, ja to
We have very, very short presentation from
we have more
and then the questions.
Yes.
Okay. So basically, while Tiziana is preparing, obviously there was lots of talk about science and art and intertwining between science and art. They have questions for you concerning that, so I'm not going to go into it. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah?
I would like to speak a little bit in English if it's possible.
Yeah.
Okay. We're very happy and excited to be here with you.
Sure.
In my school, this is not the first time that we read your books. I started maybe 6 years ago, so these are my students who had read this year, but we have lots of activities because of that.
Wow.
I choose 3 of these activities, which I think are maybe the most interesting at this moment. This is the first activity, prva aktivnost. It's like a motivation to read the book. We have made a little film 4 years ago or 5, I think, I'm not sure now. This is like an intro for the first book. I will show now the film. Znači, ovo smo radili prije nekoliko godina, moji prvi učenici koji su čitali Kradljivca Luridija, i onda ja njima pustim na početku sata kao motivacijski sat lektire, filmić koji oni naprave kao nekakav intro u prvi dio, u prvi nastavak. Kliknem. Sad će meni moja učenica pomoći u ovome.
Naravno.
Zato sam ju dovela.
Evo ga, vrti.
Hvala.
Mi sad ne čujemo zvuk ako ga ima.
Ne čujete?
Ne.
Mislim, evo samo trenutak, pokrenut ću ponovno projektor. Dakle, oni su tu napravili animacije i posložili su u taj nekakav filmić, gdje su nas upoznali. Evo ga, evo krenut ću s početka.
Bobby Pierce, obilazak instituta. Ovo je zgrada instituta. Prvi prizor pred mladom Nick William u gledu nakon dolaska u Londonu. Nakon susjeta s Adlerom ušao je raskošno predvorje. Budući da se institut bavi umjetnom inteligencijom, u predvorju se nalazi mnogo ljudi. William je pozvan u knjižnicu, gdje razgovara s stricom Hoffmanom. Knjižnica nema nijednu knjigu, a svo se štiva čita na elektroničkim tabletima. Navečer je došao svoj sobu, koja je unatočno učenje vrlo funkcionalna. Ujutro se zaprobio vidi snježne
Isto razumije.
Vrt je bio proslajen, pun drveća, a u njemu su se snježnim grudama rađala 2 mala roka. No nije to mnogo vremena za rastavljanje markatije, već čekam gospodin Sladokan kako bi mu držao svoje predavanje.
Ticijana, malo se teško razumije.
Nakon sata Vilin je dobio moj.
Recite.
Malo se teško
Opa.
razumije, nekakva je jeka, pa mislim da je bolje da pogledaju. Imaju to u prezentaciji, onda svakako pogledaju.
U redu. U drugoj aktivnosti jedan je učenik napravio rap pjesmu na temu tajnog portala. Također pustit ćemo u prezentaciji kasnije, ko bude htio može pogledati. Dakle, Sina je taj koji je pripremio i pjesmu i napisao je, dakle, stihove i sve je skupa uskladio. The student made a rap song about the second book like 2 years ago. Sljedeća aktivnost je bila izrada audio knjige. Mi smo napravili audio knjigu, dakle čitali smo cijelo jedno polugodište otprilike, svako poglavlje, upravo za slabovidnu djecu i djecu koja ne vide. Tako da smo tu knjigu sad smjestili u školsku knjižnicu, tako da moji učenici mogu to slušati i djeca koji imaju recimo probleme s disleksijom i da mogu dobiti uvid u cjelovito djelo. Dakle, to smo napravili za Kradljica Luridija i sad se taj audio zapis nalazi u našoj knjižnici školskoj.
Samo da to sad kažem. So what they did, they produced in this school audiobook of the first book for the children who don't see well or who have troubles like dyslexia or others. So, and this is now in the library.
Yeah, super. Thank you.
And the last activity is a social game we have made this year. It's in connection with the first book. We have lots of questions and we have done with some 3D printer. And it was very fun and very exciting to do this game because it was something new for us with 3D printer. Ja mogu sad pokušati pustiti ovu prezentaciju, and you will see the game. I hope.
Ne čujemo.
Dakle, riječ je o odnosima među likovima gdje oni odgovaraju na pitanja.
So the relationship between the characters is in question. Okay, ja mislim da pogledaju si to, so they made a real game.
Amazing, yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Ok, ovo je zadnji slajd o ishodima za učitelje, koji ću oni kasnije pogledati. I was a little bit shorter, but that's all we have made this year.
Yeah, but it's amazing to see.
Bruno, we wanted to show you, you know, how when these books are read in school system, then lots of people are included and things go further in terms of investigating what you can do with the books. Ticijana, samo morate prestati, molim vas, šerat, tako da se vidimo. Okay, and now we go to the questions of our students. First, the students in Pula have questions about the motivation, so please do ask your questions. Motivation and ideas and whatever you wanted to know.
What inspired you to write the book?
Ooh, it's I have to think back many years because I got the idea for the book. I think I have found I'm in my home office now, so I just cleaned it up. So this is it's been crazy for many years. So I found some very old documents from I think 2012 where I had started taking notes about the book, and and then I discovered the actual, because I've been talking so much about the books over the years, so I've sort of mixed up a little bit why I started writing them, and because it's about so much. But actually it was that first thing I wrote was about something called an astrolabe. Have you heard about an astrolabe? It's a very old device that they used at sea. It's a round thing made of brass with like knobs and levers, and you held it up towards the horizon, I think, and you twisted some knobs, and you could sort of navigate at sea. And so I thought it looks like a code in a way. It's a beautiful thing. And I started thinking, okay, what if some grown-up archaeologists found this astrolabe or something like it, and it had been buried for thousands and thousands of years, maybe more. What about 100,000 or millions of years? And it was a code, and if you solved the code, you solved the whole history of humankind. And what if it was only a boy who could do it, or a girl? It became a boy. So that's the very first thing I started writing about. So that's where it grew out of, the question, what if?
Okay, thank you. You also have questions from Paula about the characters.
How did you get the idea for the characters that come in sequels?
Are you thinking about book 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. I knew that I wanted, because Abram, stop me if I spoil anything here, but it's Abram Talley has always been the big Darth Vader villain in the books. But I quickly saw when I started working on the books that it can't just be about him all the time in 6 books. So that's why I decided to introduce a new villain with Abram on the top or behind, but in all the 6 books. But in every new book, I decided to create a new villain for William to fight, which was a lot of fun, because it's such a fun thing to find and write and create bad guys. It's
Why
a
is it
very,
so?
huh?
Why is it so?
I don't know. It's because it's they say that a main character or a hero is never as good as, I don't know if I say it correctly, but they're never as good as the bad guy makes them. So they need
Right.
this adversary. So William was always meant to be the hero, William and Ischia, his friend. But to make him grow, maybe this is a little bit back to the other question or that you mentioned about the books becoming more complicated. So I had to make every bad guy in every new book more dangerous than the previous one. So of course,
I think that the students felt that.
Yeah, okay, great.
Students from Zagreb have questions about evil and good. Please ask your question, because this is going to get us into.
So in your novels, as we understood them, good and evil are intertwined. The children, such as William and Ischia, represent the good, and the adult characters, such as Benjamin and Tobias, represent a good and evil, and adult characters are divided into good and evil, Abraham and Cornelia. Is there a reason for such a division? And in your opinion, how and to what extent do adults influence the mental development of kids in everyday life?
Ooh. That's a tough question, and it's a very good one. Let's take the first one first, because it was actually 2, wasn't it? Yeah, because good and evil is intertwined very much. It's like I've always seen it as a yin yang kind of thing when I've been writing these books, that you can't have good without evil and vice versa, because it sort of complements each other. And to me, Luridium has always been that that yin yang kind of thing, because it can help you. Like technology can help you, but it can also be bad for you. So it's finding this balance between right and wrong and good and evil. And to me, William is a representation of that, because this is also a little bit of a spoiler, but it's since we're talking about it, I think I can say it. Is that William has this Luridium inside of him, which is 50. He's sort of 50% human and machine, and without it, he couldn't be alive. So that becomes more apparent as we go along in book 4 and 5 and book 6, that he is fighting more and more between this machine or human part within him, and really forcing himself to make ethical decisions, not based on the human side or the technology side, but really striving to make the right decisions, not for him, but for everyone on the world in the end. And then it was the parents, or then the grown-ups. If they're making, what was the question again? If they are,
how they are influencing, in what capacity they are influencing the mental development of children.
Yeah, it's I think a lot, of course. It's all it takes, I think, because I can think back to when I was your age, like 12, 13, 14, and 15. It feels like it's you alone against the world, or all the grown-ups sometimes. And they're all stupid and they don't know anything, and all of this. But all it takes is sometimes we just have to. That's what I tell my kids, that someday you will understand why I said no for you to do that. But when you're in that situation, I really want to go, or you want to do this or that, and your parents or someone says no, there's usually a good reason that is a bigger picture than the actual thing. But then you have people, grown-ups, that are making really bad decisions for kids and the world, and people make bad decisions all the time, and so will kids when they grow up. It's a part of being human. And I think to sell in books, if we read a lot of books, we get more life experience, so we can make hopefully a little bit better decisions when we grow older. And that just one more thing about that, because I think it's very important, that I think very many people have that one person that influenced them in a good way at the right moment when they were younger. That one family member that gave you a book, or took you in and talked to you, or did something to inspire you, or lead you in the right direction. So I think it's, even though many people do make bad decisions, all it takes, I think, is one person to make a big change in someone's life. So look out for that person.
That was very nice. Thank you. Very insightful.
Thank you.
We go back to Paula. They have questions about the books you read and your schooling. Okay.
What did you read as a kid, and what are you reading now, and what's your favorite book?
You're lucky, since I'm in my office, I'm surrounded by books. Let's see. Yeah, hold on. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna plug this in. So this is my favorite book of all time, and it's the book that got me into reading like big time. It's my first really big reading experience, and it's still my favorite book. And it actually, when I discovered this book, I don't recommend this, but I didn't go to school for a week almost. I went to the beach because I lived not far from the beach. So instead of going to school, I took my bike and I cycled out to the beach, and I hid away for many days. I came back home, of course, and I read this book. And it's pretty thick. It's many books in one, and it's Douglas Adams, and it's the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy collection. So this book has meant a lot, and I to this day I pick it up and just browse through it, and it's inspired me in so many ways.
Do you remember how old have you been when you first read it?
Yeah, I think I was around the age of you guys, like 12, 13, maybe to 12, 13 or something like that. When I read this book in a week, and it's 800 pages. So I really recommend this book to anyone that, especially at that age, because it's very funny and insightful. And I just heard an interview with Elon Musk actually not long ago, who said it was a book about philosophy. So it's yeah, you have to go read it. And
I
what
know lots of scientists who love this book too.
I know,
People who are in like electroengineering or things. Don't read that much, but they read many times this book.
Yeah, I think this book has been very influential, more influential than we know on science and people reading it and growing up and wanting to work with robotics. And so this is a book like it's written by a genius.
They also have a tough question on your schooling.
Yeah.
Were you a good student, and what was your favorite subject at school?
Ooh, it depends on what what a good student is. Because I was that kind of restless kid that couldn't sit still in the classroom. And very creative, maybe a little bit too creative. So I always had a lot of questions to the teachers, sometimes related to the class and sometimes not related to the class. So in Norway, we have if you make too much of a fuss in the classroom, they send us out into the hallway. So I spent some time out in the hallway just because I had been too much in class. So I was that kind of student. So, and I spent a lot of time in the library, actually. I loved books. And I wanted to decide myself what I should learn, and not always what the teachers wanted me to learn. So it's I don't recommend that either, but it's that was me.
Okay.
And my favorite, I think I always liked creative writing, like language and that kind of stuff. So I always wrote when we were writing stories at school. I always handed in like very thick stories from when I was pretty young. So I've always liked that. And physical activity, like anything with balls and running around, I love that also. So not, yeah.
Very diverse.
Yeah, very diverse.
and students from Zagreb thought that you had combined science and art in special ways. So please ask your questions about these things.
It seems to us that you combined two passions in your novels, a passion for art and passion for different sciences. Could you explain your thoughts on the extent to which science is art and to which extent art is science?
Smart questions. Okay, it's. I think it is intertwined. I think it's science is one of the most creative things you can do, actually, because it's most of what is driving science and scientific breakthroughs and all of that comes from a question. What makes the apple fall? What makes the sun go down and come up again on the other side? Why is the air moving and breaking trees? And also a good story or a good artwork begins also with a question. Like my question about my book, the first Luridiumstyven, started with my question: what would happen if someone found a gadget that only a child or a kid could solve? And so I think it's like science and storytelling is the same, actually. It starts with a question. Did that answer it?
Yeah, that's interesting. I have to ask you, can you stay a little bit more because we have questions? Thank you.
Yes, you've done so much work, nice work.
Yeah,
So
thank you. We wanted to show you some, and students have some very interesting questions. There are two questions that you had about Luridium in Zagreb. Can you please explain, because these are a bit longer?
So we thought a lot about Luridium, it being the driving force behind the action in the novels. And your descriptions of Luridium encourage us to think about its existence in the periodic system of elements. So we consulted our chemistry professor, and we classified it in the 8th period, so a new period, first group, and gave it a proton number, relative atomic mass, abbreviation, and sign of radioactivity. And we were interested in whether you thought about it as more of a chemical element or as a man-made concept such as artificial intelligence. And if it really was a new metal, would you classify it in the periodic table of elements the same way we did?
And I think that was brilliant that you put it into the periodic table. I loved it, and it's I think it could actually be there, and also it's Luridium to me is also based on a question, actually, because it's. When I was working on the first book, I was thinking about this Luridium, and I wanted it to be like an intelligent metal that could be many things. And I started thinking, okay, what if technology and science goes so far and invents so many things that it's nothing more to invent? What is the end of invention and science and everything? So I just thought, okay, it has to be this kind of lump of stuff that is everything. So that became this kind of alive, shiny metal that can think and can become everything. If you put it inside yourself, it sort of makes you a little bit superhuman, but it also can enhance your bad sides, and it can enhance your good sides. So that's basically how that came from that one question. So it's to me the end of science. That there is Luridium.
Okay, another question that I had was about whether you were thinking of Luridium as intelligent metal. Of course you did, you answered that. Do you have additional question concerning artificial intelligence?
Yes. What is your opinion on artificial intelligence, which is being discussed by more and more scientists nowadays? And what are its advantages and threats in everyday life, in your opinion? And should it be regulated, and in what way?
Yeah, it's it's very interesting to be alive at this time, because I think we're going to look back and the next generation is going to look back and see that we everyone that is alive now is sort of part of a very big thing. When artificial intelligence came out and it's available to more and more people, but it's a thing that we can't stop. It is here. I think it's very it's impossible to stop it, because it's been it's like a tidal wave now. It's coming, and we have to integrate it into our lives. And it can do it can do so many great things in the medical science, in all the sciences. If we use it correctly, it can make us better. And I've seen videos on YouTube of I feel so sorry for them, because they are crying because they are artists and they can't work now, because artificial intelligence is just, you prompt something and you get the most beautiful images, just like this. So it's a very big, it's impacting society in a very big way. But and I have been following it for a long time, since before I wrote Luridium Student, and I gained access to OpenAI, who made ChatGPT many years ago. I got like early access many years ago. So I've been following it closely through the years. And I've been a little bit worried about my own job as a writer of books, because I see that you can prompt ChatGPT and you can get like a chapter, and you can get outlines of books and summaries of books and stuff like this. But now I'm starting to sort of see it in a different, because I have tried to integrate it into my own life, and I see that it makes a little bit like Luridium, actually, that AI, if you're willing, it can make you and the things that you are good at and your talents, it can make them better, because it's like a smart person that you can discuss things with and brainstorm with. And I use it all the time for those things, like discussing. But in the end, you and we have to decide what is coming out of that collaboration. It has to be human made. There has to be human value in it, and also, like you said with the screenplay, that you had AI write a screenplay, and then you had one you wrote yourself. There is something about this human connectivity that we sort of can feel, that this is from a human, it's talking to me. So I think that's very important. We need to integrate it, but we have to be the sender of the work that we are putting into the world. A very long answer, but I hope.
No, thank you very much. I think that students are surely very happy with your answers. So you don't fear the future. with artificial intelligence?
Well,
More
it can go many ways, but because it's like it can do you can do a lot of bad stuff with AI, and bad people can do bad stuff with AI, and good people can do equally good things with AI, and hopefully that cancels each other out in a way. I hope, because that's why I am so determined on the human signature on this all the time. So, but I don't know either. It's we're just in the beginning of this now, and it's we just have to try to use it to do good things in the world.
right. The more of us who try to use it in a good way.
In a good way. And I
That's it.
think in Norway it's been a big discussion for a year now, if students should be allowed to use AI in their homework and school assignments, and the teachers have sort of been fighting it, that becomes wrong and you have to do it. But now, actually, just a couple of weeks ago, it came out that it's been decided that if you, and I totally agree, actually, if you implement AI into the school so it's available to everyone, then it doesn't become like a crooked advantage for some people.
Right.
So it's just so it becomes actually just another tool available for students and teachers. So I think that's actually the right way to go.
Right
now.
approach.
Yeah.
Students have questions first from Pula and then also from Zagreb about films. So connection between the films and the books. We know that there are 6 books now. We hope that we will see translations of others. Don't tell us how it ends, please.
No,
But for films, please ask your questions about the films. There are 2 questions on films.
Do you plan to write more sequels? And when will the film be made, if it will be made at all?
Okay, and there is a question on film that goes with it.
Since we are involved in children's filmmaking at school, we were intrigued by the information that you are planning to make a film about William. We tried to write the beginning of the screenplay based on your book. It seems very demanding to us. We are interested in your opinion on possible difficulties in realization of film about William.
It's
So about the sequels we know, and now about the film.
Yeah. It's what was the first question again? The first
Do you when the film will be? Is it out yet? We don't see.
It's I can see this is a digression a little bit, but it's actually I wrote William as a screen, or the Luridium Steven was a screenplay before it became a book, actually. Because I thought this will become a great movie, so I wrote the screenplay, and when I wrote it, I saw this is going to become too expensive, so that's how it became a book. And then, so for me, it was also always a nice, like, end of the circle when since I thought it was going to become a movie, I wrote the screenplay, and then I wrote the book. And then Hollywood suddenly bought the film rights, and unluckily the corona epidemic hit and closed down the whole of Hollywood when they bought it. So, and then the rights went out. So now I have the rights back with me again. And some other people are looking to maybe buy the rights. So hopefully it's a very big film project. So they have to get a lot of money to make a movie out of it, or a series. So we'll see.
Is it more likely that it's going to be one film, or like 3 probably? because it's a lot of material.
It's it's a lot of material. So I think I would, if I sell the rights to someone else, then they have to decide whether it should be what it should be, of course. But if I made the movies, I think I would divide it into at least 3 movies, because it just becomes more and more story universe as we go along in the series.
Right. Like Pullman.
Yeah, it could, it could become pretty big,
right?
Budget-wise. Was it an other question inside there that I didn't answer now?
From Rudish, there was they said that they found it very complicated to write the screenplay. So they asked you about your view on, but you answered it when you said that it was the screenplay first. But you can say probably now, before our last questions, that what we were discussing about the difference between films and books before we started. How do you see your impact now, and what would you like to be it? More in film industry or more in writing?
I think I really love movies. I have to say that that's what I always wanted to do with my life, is make movies. I love making them and watching them, and I love writing screenplays. To me, it is like watching the film the first time, when you sit down and write the screenplay, your own private movie. But books is special, I think. Books are very important in the way that it changes you when you read a good book. I think they've done science on this, that it actually reconnects the neurons in your brain when you.
I write books about that. That's what I do.
Oh, interesting.
Right.
Yeah, so then you know more than me about this, but it's there's something about reading that book that changes your brain physically and has an impact that lasts years and years and years. And movies, as they are now, can't do that, because watching a movie does not require the same things from your brain as reading a book, which is basically just words from after each other. So you and I, everyone, when we read a book, we are creating everything that is inside the book. It becomes our universe. It becomes our creative journey. And the more you do that, the more you rewire your brain and you change yourself depending on the books that you read. That's why I think books, we have to fight the battle for not losing books and not to have new generations of people that can't read books. That's super. So I love books. No, I love movies, but books are more important the way I see it.
Okay. It couldn't be better to hear that in this series. And we have 2 more questions on scientific discoveries and manipulation and what you wanted to do. So please ask your questions.
In your novels, you have shown that scientific discoveries can be manipulated. Weird discoveries such as radium, plutonium, dynamite, and invents for you to point out this problem.
Sorry, can you say it again, the last part? I didn't hear.
Were these discoveries such as radium, plutonium, dynamite incentive for you, in terms that you thought about that before you were doing this with?
Yeah, in a way, because you can, believe it or not, you can do both good things and bad things with dynamite also. So and all these discoveries. So it's like the discovery of dynamite was one peak of science at some period, and also all the other discoveries that we had through the ages. But the thing that sort of sets Luridium apart from those is that at least I have always seen it as the end point. It becomes everything, and the next step of evolution becomes Luridium and not us. So it's sort of the bad side of Luridium is that it leaves us behind, and it sort of eats us up, and it becomes humans disappear, and it becomes that which is Luridium. So that's the difference between those two things. I think that it's dynamite is still part of humanity, but Luridium is the end, the potential end of the road. So and now I have to stop myself now because there's more things in the other books that I just have to.
Yeah. And we have final question on you personally, and then of course sometime if you want to say something that they didn't ask you.
Do you have other plans for the future, or you wanted to be an author?
Yeah, I have many plans. It's but writing books, that's sort of it's slowly becoming my mission, sort of writing. Especially, I want to write more books for adults, but I see also that it's very important to write books for younger people also, to recruit new readers, and when you write a book that younger people fall in love with or like, they are the best audience in the world, because it's you don't even though an adult really loves your book, they're not jumping up and down and screaming or dancing when they see you. But younger people do that sometimes. We love your book. They become like that, and at book signings and stuff. But if an adult loves your book, they can come up and ask you to
Be
sign
very
it
polite.
and say, "I really love your books." So it's very it's the most inspirational audience, and also the most giving audience to write books for young people. So I think I'm never going to stop with that.
Okay, thank you very much. I have to tell you something. So I'm just thinking now about this, but you had audience here from everywhere in Croatia, of course, in terms of our teachers, but those who read your books are from Zagreb. We still do have this book fair that you loved so much.
Yeah.
The others are from Pula, where probably you've heard, if you didn't, there is also a great book fair centered towards authors. So whatever we translate, we will get you to Zagreb and to Pula, if you agree.
Yeah.
And then you can have this screaming effect with your new readers because they obviously like it. Is there anything that, I mean, there are certainly lots of things, but is there anything that they didn't ask you and you would like to share for as your final thought? And so far, it was very insightful.
Yeah, it was very good questions. It was super good questions. If they could, if I'm available now, if they have thought of something that they would like to ask, also I could, but I can talk a little bit because that's maybe connected to the previous question is about my future plans. Is that I'm just finishing the first book of a new series, actually, for the same audience or age group as Luridiumstyven and those books. So I can, but then we are, that's pure science fiction. So we're actually leaving the Earth in that
Okay.
book. So the Earth is no more. It's in the future somewhere, and we have to leave Earth, and the whole of humanity is stuck on one humongous spaceship, all from all over the world. So all countries have to work together in one spaceship. So, which is interesting to write about, and so that's sort of my question now.
Project.
My project now, and I think it's going to be 3 books, a series of 3 books. So, which is fun.
Great, great.
Yeah. So.
Okay. I can't thank you enough. I can't thank enough our teachers and the students for preparing all this and reading so deeply, which is really something that we see as a great thing for our future and your future, as our author said. And with this, we will be closing our session tonight and our whole series with books for young adults. And starting next month, we will be talking about popular science books. As you know, I hope that you will join us in this second session again. And I really hope that I'm meeting our director tomorrow. So I will tell her a little bit about our meeting tonight, and we will discuss the next translations. So I hope to see next translations very, very soon. And I hope to be able to see you in Croatia in person, because we loved our conversation tonight. I hope
great. I loved it
it
too.
was rewarding for you too.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was super. It's so inspiring to see to do these kind of things, and it just wants me to. It makes me want to read more, and write more, and work more. So it's thank you. It's very inspirational, and all the work you've done, the questions and everything you've done with the movie and the rap, and yeah, super duper. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to all of you, and have a nice weekend that's coming soon, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.